Welcome to the Carr Brothers, live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio. Radio Central, 830 WCRN. Now, here's your hosts, Mike and Mark Carr from Harborough Auto Sales and Service.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. It's not actually all that sunny in Westboro, Massachusetts. So this is, kind of I guess it's, in honor of the weekend we're about to approach, right?
This is an anomaly. Yeah, this is unusual weather in Westboro. It's typically very sunny. We do have the studio windows open here at WCRN, and I think by the time we leave, the sun will probably win. I think it'll
through
bust
a little bit
through the clouds. Yeah,
I don't think I have my sunglasses with me. So.
I don't either, actually. Maybe that's why. I forgot my contact lenses, so I got my glasses today, and I guess Westboro didn't want to blind me on the ride in. So we're the Carr Brothers, I think, right, Mike? Is that what we are?
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of our background and history is in automotive. Although I think my first job that I can recall was in the bike shop, because we used to have a bike shop too. And that was my first job. I put the reflectors on the wheels, or in between the spokes.
Yeah, like a assembly line.
Yeah, and I think I did reflectors on pedals. And then I eventually upgraded to hand grips and actually the pedals.
That's when you knew you made it, when you're actually assembling the handlebars on a BMX bike in the 1980s, right? Yeah.
There was some really cool bikes back then. I have a lot of nostalgia in my mind about it. I was never good at doing the whole trick riding thing, but that was a real big like BMX 80s trick bike. And they didn't have energy drinks back then, so the guys used to drink like 8 Mountain Dews. And
just get hopped up on Mountain Dew and go do a handstand on a bicycle.
Yeah, there was actually another caffeine. I think it was called Jolt. It was like a type of
Jolt that came
cola.
around. I feel like that might have been a little later.
A little later, maybe.
I think so.
In any case, yeah, it was fun.
I was thinking that today. I actually went down to the store because basically at Harborough, what we do, we bribe our employees with energy drinks. So if we need them to really like hustle on a Friday afternoon, like this week, right? For example, a lot of people are traveling this weekend, and I need the technicians to kind of hop. So you go down to the street, you buy about 4 or 5 Monsters or Red Bulls or whatever. There's like a million brands of energy drink now, and you just pass them out, and they think you're great, right? Now, this is a insider secret. I shouldn't tell, but they think, oh, that was nice. What a nice boss. And they don't know that you're really just trying to get them wound up, so they'll pump out some work, right?
Actually,
there's too many options, though.
Probably should start to stock the fridges with it.
We actually probably should. I don't know if it's very healthy. But.
You can look this up. This is a fun fact. Industrial Revolution, one of the main things that literally fueled it was the fact they put coffee machines everywhere. So like the night shift, they just had coffee machines. These guys would just drink coffee all night. Yeah,
makes sense.
It's a real thing.
It makes sense.
Look it up. All right. Yep, look it up. Prove me wrong. It's not fake news.
Not fake news. This is real news. But, you heard it here first on the Carr Brothers Radio Adventure. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to couple topics today, so we'll get to those in a second. We have a studio hotline. If you want to join the conversation, we're always happy to chat with our friends out there driving around. Studio hotline is 508-871-7000. So that's 508-871-7000. You can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. You can go to our website at harboroughauto.com. You can send us emails telling us either we're full idiots or that we maybe said something sensible, if that ever happens. And whatever the case, join the conversation here on WCRN. Mike, today is there's a lot of cool holidays. One of the things that we do sometimes on the show here is talk about the national days. It seems like everything has a national day. And there's a few today. I was looking into these this week, and I was kind of surprised. There's a number of them that are kind of cool. So I'm going to start with one that's got a little ironic twist, and I'm sure you don't know what this one is. But there was big news yesterday about one of everyone's favorite things you find in your pocket, I guess, and you just kind of chuck them. Big news on the penny. Have you heard this? Yesterday,
someone mentioned this morning.
Today is National Lucky Penny Day.
Ooh.
Now, the irony of that is yesterday they announced that they're going to stop minting new pennies. No more pennies.
Not so lucky.
Not so lucky.
No, or not so lucky for pennies.
Not so
anyways,
lucky
right?
for pennies. That's right. So this is a funny thing, and I know it's really not to do with cars, but I don't know. How do you feel about that? Is it like Pluto a little bit? Like, is it a planet, not a planet? Or
So I mean, the old penny saved is a penny earned,
right? Didn't we all grow up learning that?
or is it a penny saved is
Waste,
I don't
trash, right? It's useless.
it still has value. They're just
Of course.
they're not going to
It's not
continue
going to
to
make any more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was reading about it this week or yesterday. I didn't know today was Lucky Penny Day. I was reading about it this week, and they say that Americans throw away $1.6 million worth of pennies a year. Okay, that's a fun fact, I guess. It's not that much when you consider there's 300 million people. But they all and then they say, well, the penny costs 3 or 4 cents to make, which on the surface makes no sense. But then you realize, pardon the pun. But,
Yeah, how do you spell that?
but then you realize that penny gets spent many times, right? So it's not really just about the cost to make it. Once it's in the market, it's spent
and each time
millions
it's
of times.
each
right?
time it's spent, it's taxed a
Well,
few
that's
times
the
over.
thing, right? And so then I was wondering this. So what are we going to do? And it says, change numbers will be rounded up to the nearest 5, or rounded. There you go, right? Rounded to the nearest 5. Meaning so this is just going to cost consumers more.
So at Walmart,
Yeah, right. So nothing will be like $20.93. It'll be $20.95. And I promise you,
it's going to round up.
of course. I mean, do you think businesses are going to round down?
This is the beginning of the digital currency.
There it is.
Yeah,
Conrad
yeah.
sweeps in with the facts. That's true. That's
Huh.
50,000 watts of truth right there. No business is going to round down. Are they? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
and I don't know.
right?
Is it? Yeah.
So I'm having a little
gotta
eulogy for the penny here.
They got to do that thing where, do you want to round up for some little charity or something?
Well, that would be
And then,
nice.
Yeah. That Walmart doesn't need it, or
I actually think this makes sense. I think Canada did this like 10 years ago, and they didn't crumble.
yeah, but their money wasn't worth much to start. I have Canadian friends, so I got to be.
I'm
nice,
going to
but-
Canada next month. I'm saving my loonies.
Yeah, but that's
I'm
why,
saving-
because
That's right.
you can go up there and live
True,
like a
actually,
king.
the dollar
No, maybe
the
not.
dollar is stronger.
A bit,
in
a bit.
Canada it is.
Yeah, a bit.
Well, I know this. I booked a hotel today, and Canadian it was 207, and on U.S. currency it was like 155 or something. So yeah, for sure. I mean, you get a little more for your money. Canada's a gorgeous country.
There's not a lot of people up there. It's quiet.
Yeah, out in
Socialist.
Yeah. You gotta
fake news.
you gotta be careful. As long as they don't try to lock you up or something. Although.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think I'll be all right. So yes, today on Lucky Penny Day here on WCRN, we are going to say goodbye to the minting of the penny. They're going to finish out their run. They've got enough blanks to make a few more million or whatever, and then they're not going to order more blanks for the penny.
Well, I've got a fun fact for
Yeah.
us. Weekend. Everybody's trying to enjoy the Memorial Day weekend.
Yes,
And Conrad, you'll like this one.
you will.
There's actually a national day that was created only 5 years ago, called National Yucatan Shrimp Day.
I saw
So
that.
basically,
Yeah.
there's a rum bar down in southern Florida called Doc Ford's. Really cool place. The guy's actually an author. He writes all these kind of like murder mystery kind of books and all this stuff. But anyway, he started a chain of rum bars, and it's called Doc Ford's. I've been to some of them. They're really great. And they have this thing called Yucatan Shrimp, which is from the Yucatan Peninsula off the Gulf Coast. Because these restaurants are all on the Gulf Coast. But yeah, so he made a national day, National Yucatan
Good for
Shrimp
him.
Day. Yeah,
Good for Doc.
great spot. One of his spots is right on the water. He's got Fort Myers,
Yep.
Captiva Island. So pretty good spot.
Good for
Pretty
Doc.
good spot.
We're hitting the whole North America today. We got
Mhm.
Canada thrown in. We got the Yucatan thrown in there. So
Mhm.
the weekend coming up, and I guess this comes to the next point, is I guess it's not ironic that today is National Road Trip Day. And I guess that makes sense. And we've talked about road trips a lot on the show, and I want to get into them a little bit more because I love them. And maybe we can ask callers to join the conversation if you've got a road trip in mind, or if you're going on one this weekend. Give us a holler at 508-871-7000. the National Road Trip Day is annually, it's the Friday before Memorial Day, which makes sense, right? People are trying to bang out of work and hit the road and try to beat the traffic out of town. And so some of the things that come up are, what are the best road trips around? What's some place in New England? So I started talking about this week with some of the staff. We got some people going on vacation. And what do you think is like a reasonable length of time to spend in your car for a weekend road trip?
One way?
Yeah.
That 3-hour window is always really nice. I guess if you're adventurous, you want to go out to 4 hours. But, if you're driving somewhere 4 hours, you're going to drive 4 back.
Right. That always seems longer too, doesn't it?
Yeah. And obviously best if you can stay somewhere, spend a couple days, and then make that 4-hour trip home. If you're doing a true date.
This was a hot topic of debate at Harborough this week. We had some people say 6 hours was a reasonable time to go for a weekend away, which seemed like a long time for me. I thought 6 hours was kind of.
I cap out at I really love to be 3.5. That's my perfect. I don't mind being in the car that long. And you still stop once and get a drink and use the bathroom or get some food or whatever. Because the problem is a 3-hour ride is always a 5-hour ride.
Well, yes, especially if everyone else decides to do it at the same time.
Right.
Like
bathroom
today.
stop, fuel, food.
Sure. Right.
Oh, let's go get some lunch, which is all fine. But it takes a little while.
Yeah.
So if you got a 6-hour trip, you're talking an 8-hour trip.
Yeah. Right. So that's
all right, but
that's
it's all day.
If you're doing a Friday to a Monday or something, that is a long time. I agree with you. We'll get back into that in a minute. We are the Carr Brothers. We're on WCRN. We're pumping out 50,000 watts of truth. We are streaming. We've got Joe set us up today to stream. So we've got our, looks like we've got a handful of people watching. This is good. And
on the WCRN Facebook currently, we haven't linked up.
No, that's right. But you can catch us on the WCRN Facebook. You can join the conversation at 508-871-7000. Carr Brothers Radio Adventure will catch you after the break.
Hi, folks. This is Mike Stacey, head professional at Norton Country Club, welcoming you to the start of the 2025 golf season. Norton Country Club is a championship 18-hole golf course located just minutes off of 485. The course came through the winter grid, and we're open for daily fee, as well as having membership opportunities and outings available. Our clubhouse is a great venue for your wedding or group gathering needs. If you're interested, call 508-285-2400, extension 1 for events, or 103 for golf, as well as nortoncountryclub.com. Hope to see you out there.
Having trouble with your cell phone? You need to visit Wireless World at 757 Grafton Street in Worcester. They fix any device, including cell phones, tablets, and computers, as well as game systems. Before you buy or replace it, bring it to Wireless World at 757 Grafton Street in Worcester. Need or want a new phone? You won't believe the prices at Wireless World, 757 Grafton Street in Worcester. Before you buy new or replace your current phone, check out Wireless World, 757 Grafton Street. That's Route 122 in Worcester.
The Hanover Theater is honored to be the home of the mighty Wurlitzer. Join us on May 25th at 2 p.m. for the classic silent film Safety Last, accompanied by the prominent Clark Wilson on New England's largest theatrical pipe organ. This 1923 romantic comedy stars Harold Lloyd and established the actor as a major figure in early motion pictures. Tickets for Safety Last are just $20. Please contact the box office or visit thehanovertheater.org for more information.
Divorce and remarriage. It's a controversial subject clearly addressed in the Bible. Each weekend, Pastor Ray McMahon shares the truth of God's Word on the unbreakable covenant of marriage during the Jesus is Our Shepherd broadcast. Don't miss this opportunity to learn God's instructions by listening to the Jesus is Our Shepherd broadcast each weekend on this station.
Tune in every Sunday at noon.
The Carr Brothers continues. Live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio. Radio Central, 830 WCRN. Now, here's your hosts, Mike and Mark Carr from Harborough Auto Sales and Service.
All right, welcome back to WCRN. We're the Carr Brothers on the Carr Brothers Radio Adventure. We've got Conrad behind the glass, my brother Mike, and I am Mark Hare from Harborough Auto Sales. We're talking today, it seems pertinent, a little more fun to talk about some road trips. Today is National Road Trip Day, and hopefully some of our listeners out there are in the process of packing or hitting the road. Maybe you get out of work early today and you're able to hit the road, head north, south, or west. You really can't drive 4 hours east, I guess. But you, how far is Provincetown? I guess you could pretty close to 4 hours.
I don't think it'd be 4 hours. Well, it just depends on traffic. I guess if you
right.
want to make it into that.
Right.
Maybe jump in a boat and go a little further out.
Yeah, that's right. So Mike thinks that 3 hours is about his max for what he's. And when you say that, you're talking about like if you were to punch into Google Maps, like, hey, 3 hours
Kind of a radius.
like good, Google Map time, and that doesn't always mean real time with traffic. So if you're planning a 3 hour trip, I guess maybe it's going to take you 4 with the traffic.
Yeah,
and
I guess I could do if I have to do 6 or 7 hours. I want to be staying a little while wherever my end destination is. I don't want to have to drive 6 or 7 hours the next
Anytime
day
soon.
or 2 days after.
Yeah.
And there's a big factor if you have children or adults with ADHD that act like children. So, those are two big factors.
Present
there,
company included, I guess, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I pulled up a quick map, Mike, since I know your 3 hour range, and I'm going to just list a few cities that you could reach.
I could go 3.5 if we have to.
3.5 hours.
3.5.
Well, I'm going to put you at 3, and,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there. So let's see, 3 hours, and I'm basing this on Worcester, Mass. So I know you're a few minutes from Worcester, but we'll go with that. So let me read you some cities, and anyone out there that's listening, you can consider these places for your next stop. We've got, let's see, oh my goodness, Albany, New York.
I've been there. It used to be was it the capital at one point?
It is the capital still.
Yes,
It continues
there
to
you
be
go.
the capital.
Correct.
That's
So I've
right.
been there. There's some interesting architecture, some of the buildings. I went to a really good steakhouse there. That was the thing. I had to be there for a few days. I said, I'm at least going to get a good steak. So my wife and I walked down, which was pretty fun. Walked down, went to this really nice steakhouse. They had someone there playing a cello. A giant.
What's wrong with that?
And then someone was playing the piano. It was pretty fancy. So, yes, that's it. So that was actually pretty great. It's called something like Steakhouse 57 or something strange. You could probably Google it. But that was about all I remembered about that city. It was all right.
So you're giving Albany an okay. It's an okay. You could go there for a road trip. It doesn't seem like a real is it a real destination? Do you drive to go to Albany? Would you?
No, I wouldn't.
For Albany. Okay, that's fine. We'll move on.
Actually, I should say I went to a theater there. This is my cultured side. And I just outside of Albany, and I saw the play Hamilton there.
Oh, you are cultured.
Which was really cool.
Oh, dear.
Actually, it was really neat. But
saved up for a while to get those.
No, I got in
tickets.
for free.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Yeah, I got in for free.
All right. Worth the drive then.
Yeah, it was the radio. They heard about our radio show.
Oh, they heard your radio voice, and
Yeah,
they
it's
said,
like-
"Well, maybe we'll need a fill-in for."
What's that guy? Ebert?
Yeah, Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, Siskel and Ebert. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that.
They heard your voice, and they
Mhm.
said, "Well, we got to get this guy into showbiz."
So that was fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
Went to a little Mexican place too. It was a good time.
All right, so Albany would be a come see, come saw. It's an
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
How about a classic New England getaway within 3 hours here is Portland, Maine.
Yeah, that's great.
Great.
Yeah, that's great up there. You'd have to remind me of some of the places. I've been there. It's been a few years. Is that near Casco Bay?
South. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a little south. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you can quite get to Casco Bay in 3 hours.
I think that's a favorite for a lot of people.
Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a solid. If you're like, for example, if you're a guy right now and you told your wife you'd take her away and you still haven't thought of a place, you can't go too wrong with Portland, right? I mean, you got the docks and the harbor, and you can get yourself a lobster or something, take her somewhere nice. But you also got, shopping. You've got a lot of breweries and wineries, and yeah, it's just a beautiful area, right?
I think if you're super adventurous, they do. I mean, there's all, because it's kind of peninsulas and islands,
Yeah.
and you can get a little boat tour or go out on a sailboat.
You can, yeah.
Right? They got a lot of stuff like that, don't they?
Yeah, you can. There's a bunch of islands in the harbor there. I forget what that harbor, that may be Casco Bay. I honestly don't know, but
I went there.
But there's Peaks Island out there. They have a really cool monthly reggae fest it's like every fourth Friday or something.
Great restaurants.
Really, I don't have a lot of experience with Peaks Island specifically, but Portland in general. Are you saying Peaks or just?
I was saying Portland.
Portland in
yeah,
general.
A friend of mine has a
Yeah.
house up there.
Yeah, a friend of ours does too. And I'll tell you, I don't know this, but if you were to Google like best food cities in the country, it's got to be top 5.
Blythe and Barrow.
This is a funny story. I'm glad he said this. I'm going to shout out. Yes, there you go. They've got Blythe and Barrow. I say Blythe has fantastic ice. They stamp. They give you a cube of ice and they stamp. They're like B&B on there.
Great cocktails.
Great. Yeah, it's a great place. One of my good friends, former what do you call it? Former lover, partner, works there. Good dude, makes a nice drink. Yeah, go check out that. That's on Congress Street, I think, or the street that goes up to the north. So yeah, go to Blythe and Barrow in Portland. You can't go wrong there. My friend, Tara, she lives up there, and her ex still works there. Good guy. Portland is something that you can absolutely get to in 3 hours from Worcester. Yeah, traffic will give you a little wiggle there, but you get there.
My wife surprised me one time, and I think we loaded kayaks on the roof. And we
That's cool.
kayaked. She said, "You got to put the kayaks on the roof, and we're gonna, go kayaking." I had no idea we were going up to Casco Bay, which I just looked it up. It's kind of above Portland a little bit,
right.
And we went up and kayaked in that bay. There was some kind of old fort or prison or something out there. You could kayak out to it. But it's actually a pretty great place. And we stayed in this very interesting, I guess it must have been an Airbnb, but to get in there, it looked as though you were going into a tunnel. This is really neat architecture. They didn't have a door. You had to go through this really strange
Into the
thing.
building, you mean?
Into your room.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it looked like a hobbit hole. It was just a strange thing, but that was up in Casco Bay. But that was actually pretty fun. And then we did go down to Portland on the way home and check some stuff out. It's definitely a really cool coastal area.
It is. I mean, Maine, you go over that bridge and there's a sign, "Welcome to Vacation Land." It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, Maine is awesome.
We got
I'll
to
be staying up there in 3 weeks.
Let's go. All right.
You got to text us a couple
That's
couple menus.
That's right.
Let us know what you chose. But I think that's a great
And so
option.
here's a question: if you were, you're talking about Cascade Bay, which Casco Bay.
I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. So that's a little further up.
CASCO.
Yeah. I gotcha. So that is technically the bay that Portland's on, but
It's like
I
the
think
top of it.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about it, you're talking about like north of Portland, Bath, and
I think it's only maybe half hour, 45
Yeah,
minutes past it.
yeah.
It's not a big deal.
yeah, Freeport I think is up there where the LL Bean little shops are and stuff. So yeah, so I guess so Mike's willing to drive a little further than that 3 hours than he
We
was
did go to a
originally
wedding
saying.
just past there in Booth Bay Harbor. And
Okay,
my
there's
wife's
another.
uncle, his name is also Mike, had a great idea that we should just jump in the ocean.
That's
So
a
we
good
went down
idea.
the end of the pier and we jumped in, and it was pretty cold up there. Yeah, the water was not warm.
No, the water up in Maine does not get
It's
warm.
not
anytime
warm.
soon.
In July, I'll be up at Acadia Bar Harbor.
Oh, let's go.
Ooh.
That's
But it's
great.
6 hours.
5 or
though.
6 hours to get there.
You're gonna
Yeah,
hike the
yeah.
Beehive?
Yeah.
It's you gonna try to do that?
I've done that before.
Yeah, I have not actually.
I
I've
have
heard
not
it's-
either. I have not. And Conrad, I'll have to ask you. So I was up there a few years back, and my wife and I were doing hikes, and she took a look at the Beehive and the rungs, the handrails and stuff, and that was it for her. She was right out. So from your perspective, what is it? it terrifying? Is it cool? It's manageable?
It's exhausting.
Okay, another adjective. I didn't see that one coming. So are you going to do it again this time?
Yeah, we do.
Let's
That
go.
and some golf.
Okay, perfect. We went up to that South Jordan Pond area in Acadia, and I think that's where the Beehive is. Yeah, the views are magnificent. And actually, fun fact, Sand Beach was just named one of the top beaches in the country, which is the beach that, you know, is in the harbor there. And that's a wonderful beach. It looks like Caribbean blue water in Maine. It's
And
wild.
Cadillac Mountain's a lot of fun.
It is.
You
Yeah.
could drive to the top of that.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I remember doing that a long time ago.
You can hike there too. It's a pretty cool hike. Again, if you're adventurous, if you're listening to us and you're a little adventurous, you can hike up. It's the first place in the continental U.S. to see the sunrise every morning. So if you want a romantic morning and you can get yourself out of bed around 4 a.m., hike up there with your sweetheart and maybe have a little sunrise romance up there. It's actually super nice. That's an awesome place. That is longer, right? That's 6 hours more or less. Yeah. But it's an awesome drive too, right? If you hug, well, I guess you could take 95 or you could kind of hug the coast. That's the way we've gone, and that makes it longer but nicer. So that's Maine. I would tell you what, you could do worse than to head to Maine this weekend or any upcoming weekend if you're traveling. We're a car talk show, but when we get talking about cars, a lot of times that leads to taking care of your car. And, you know, customers will call us all the time, right? And they'll say, like, oh, can I get an oil change, or I got to get my tires checked or whatever. And, you know, we'll say, okay, cool. Like this morning, actually, last night I had a girl who was in for an oil change. I didn't realize it, but as I got talking to her, she says, oh, I'm heading to New York for the weekend.
Sure.
And then, oh, where are you going in New York? Oh, I'm going upstate. Oh, cool. Where upstate? And, you know, cars and travel all kind of intermingle, and it gets us kind of hyped up when we see, you know, people. And we do these challenges at Harborough where we'll say, hey, look, take a picture of your car, you know, with the sticker on it out in, you know, Jackson Hole, Wyoming or something. So it's kind of cool for us. We get to live vicariously through people on the road, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And, you know, always a good idea to let us check it out a little bit, or, you know, to take it to your mechanic that has,
find someone you trust. Yeah.
has your best interest in mind, and actually just let them look it over a little, make sure everything's good on your car. And we can kind of talk about that, some pre-trip stuff.
Yeah. We'll come back after the break. We are a studio hotline call-in show at 508-871-7000. WCRN.
More live and local radio is next. Stay tuned to Radio Central, 830 WCRN.
Time now for the forecast from the Boston Independence Group Weather Center. Call Jerry Doherty today at 877-772-1776. Retirement is within reach.
I'm meteorologist Sherry Spearn. Here's the latest Boston 25 weather on Radio 830 WCRN. Cool, cloudy today, highs in the 50s. Kind of feeling like April out there. We've also got a little more drizzle and light rain that will develop by this evening and continue overnight. Tomorrow runs mostly dry. We're just looking for a spot shower for your Saturday plans. Sunday is going to be a little warmer with highs back in the 60s and more breaks of sunshine. I'm meteorologist Sherry Spearn. You can hear Boston 25 live for the morning drive weekdays on AM 830 WCRN.
Shop local and listen local. Live and local radio every day on Radio Central, 830 WCRN.
This is Jerry Doherty, host of Making Money Last, right here on WCRN. Like all business owners, I'm interested in why people choose to work with Boston Independence Group. So I asked my clients. The most common response, Jerry does not try to be all things to all people. Boston Independence Group is specialized, focused solely on retirement planning. My customers enjoy the difference. We do one thing, and we do it exceptionally well. Help other people live better in retirement. That's it. If you're ready to retire or making plans to retire, we can do for you what we've done for hundreds of other retirees throughout New England. Live better in retirement. Just give me a call. I'll show you how. My toll-free number is 877-772-1776. 1776. Again, that number is 877-772-1776. And you can visit us on the web at bostonindependencegroup.com. bostonindependencegroup.com. You're listening to the Carr Brothers, live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio. Radio Central, 830 WCRN. Now, here's your hosts, Mike and Mark Carr from Harborough Auto Sales and Service.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Carr Brothers Radio Hour. You have Mike and Mark here on with you. Appreciate you all listening out there on this nice Friday afternoon. Maybe a little sun coming through.
It's
there, Mark.
gotten
I'm
nicer
looking.
since we got on the air.
Just a little bit.
It has.
Kind of.
Conrad's glowing. Look at him.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Hey, that was quite a storm.
Wow, that was. Yeah, it was
A lot of
quite a
rain.
storm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of rain.
So sunshine's poking through here in Westboro, and I think it's up in the air, I guess, literally about the weather this weekend. I don't know. It's like it's tough. Actually, we're debating what to do. Do you invite a couple people over? Do you not? Is it going to be a rain out? So yeah, it's a tough.
It is funny. They talk about from the mouths of babes or whatever, right? But I got home last night and it was pouring out. My little daughter, she's 3. She says, "Papa, grab your mucky duck boots and come outside." So she puts her rain boots on and her jacket, and she was out there for like 45 minutes just getting soaked.
Yeah, you just got to embrace it.
And she was so
right?
happy. So my question is it that miserable to be out in the rain, or are we taught to be miserable?
We're taught to be miserable.
To be out in the rain.
Yeah.
Because whatever, she had a great time playing in all the water and watching things float.
Yeah, she's not really
Getting
thinking
muddy.
about the cleanup either, maybe.
Well, that's what you have mom for.
You said it. That's right. All right. Sorry. So, Mike, we're chatting about road trips this weekend, and we're talking about it because we're in the car business, and we have a lot of people that come in, and they say, "Hey, you open this weekend?" And we say yes, and then they say, "Oh, good, because I need work done because I'm going on vacation," and then we secretly hate you, but we'll still fix your car.
We'll get it done.
We'll get it kidding. We've got a text line. I always fail to talk about that. Text line. We got 2 text lines. We got 508. What is that one that you've got? 508-266-6014.
Yep, that's
That'll
one of
get
them.
to us. And also the WCRN text line is 617-297-8388. So on the break, we got a text from
and that's kind of like the bat signal. If
what
you
that
remember,
is.
like when you text
That's true.
that red phone starts ringing and you lift that red.
That's right.
You move that guy's, what do they call that? It's like the guy's bust.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like someone's head and
like
chest.
Julius Caesar. Yeah.
Right. And you flip that and the door's
there's a phone
open.
underneath and secret lair.
And then, Mark and I get to jump in the Batmobile.
That'd be cool. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
Do we have a cave anywhere? Like a, command center?
I don't have a cave, although at Harborough we're doing construction and there's a lot of trenches dug in the parking lot right now. So we could probably build a cave in there.
Did we put any secret rooms?
We should have. We should have.
I'm not sure if we did or not.
Yeah, we definitely should have built a secret
room.
room.
The town would just tax us on it anyway.
Yeah, that's probably true too. So on the break, we got a text in from one of our listeners who mentioned Saratoga Springs, New York.
That's a really fun area.
Is a cool place. Yeah, it is a cool area, right? I know your horse family, your wife and yourself, and now your daughter are horse lovers. So Saratoga Springs is known for the racetrack, of course.
Yeah, it's a fun day. It's you can go and just do that. It doesn't even really cost anything. I mean it depends if you choose to bet.
Yeah, it's not
if you lose money by betting,
it costs some people something.
You can go observe
like their house, but
you can observe the race if you don't have a gambling addiction.
Right, but and you can throw a few dollars on the ponies.
Yeah,
and we win, lose, or draw. Right.
The architecture on the houses up there is beautiful.
Awesome.
Really neat area. Yeah. I would imagine that it's fashioned a bit after Kentucky.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you, and I think, and I don't know this, but has your wife been to like Kentucky?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have not.
Kentucky Derby and all that.
Really?
Oh
yeah. That's cool.
That.
Yeah.
You got to get up early, so you can get because you can get seats, but a lot of people like to be on the infield. It's like where everything's happening.
So you got to get up early.
Yeah, because I think it's general admission for the infield.
That's
You
pretty
got to get
cool.
up early, get your ticket. I believe you can get a ticket and then go home and rest a little longer if you want.
Funny.
There's some strategy for it.
Send a lookalike.
But I mean, essentially, yeah, it's just a big party and people having a good time down there. Sometimes it rains. It's probably not as fun.
It rained this time. Yeah, it
Mhm.
rained for this race. Yeah.
And you know that horse that won is not racing in the next race.
I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is
So-
surprising. You know, so much money on the line.
I guess the trainer's
they
pretty
ran.
legit. He loves his animals and didn't want to risk its health.
One of them. Wow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think he's going to run the Belmont.
Okay. So he could do 2 out of 3, hypothetically.
Yeah. So the point I was asking, if you've been to Kentucky, is that's outside of our range. Okay, so you're not going to get there in 3 hours. I guess on a jet, but Saratoga Springs, driving into the area, it reminds me of what I think Kentucky would look like. A lot of these beautiful estate kind of, you can tell they're horse breeders or horse farms and
Trainers,
just wide
everything,
open
yeah.
space. Yeah, very nice. And you know, it's like if you were an alien and you heard of New York, I guess most people would think of New York City, and it's night and day different than New York City. I mean, it's country, it's beautiful farmland. It's actually really nice.
The
Saratoga
downtown's
Springs.
really cool.
Yeah, and to Conrad's point, the architecture. What is that architecture? It's got to be like French inspired, or what is? I don't know what that is. I'll get back to you on that. But it's very ornate. A lot of trim moldings on these mansions, and yeah, really cool. I don't know if it's Southern Gothic or something. I'd have to look.
Not Victorian, is it?
Maybe, I guess. Yeah,
A little.
yeah, like Victorian.
We're gonna check with
farmhouse.
Eric, our cousin Eric.
There
He's
we
an
go.
architect.
I need
so-
someone that's more of an expert on architecture than me. But yeah, Saratoga Springs, I think that's an underrated place. I really do. I've talked to people about that before, and I really think, last segment we were talking about Portland, Maine. I don't want to say Portland's overrated. It's not. It's just, everyone knows about Portland. I think Saratoga kind of flies under the radar a little bit.
Just saw a little article here. How Saratoga transformed into a design masterpiece. So I don't know what happened, but someone put some good design into that.
Got you. There you go. So that's
And,
Conrad. Conrad's got an eye for all of the finer things in life. So when we talk about simple things, Conrad's looking at the architecture. So
There is a place 3 hours away in New Hampshire called Bretton Woods, and I once had a condo up
fantastic.
there. It's beautiful.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's Mount Washington.
okay. Right around the Mount Washington area.
Yeah.
Really nice.
It's above the ridges, Franconia and
Okay.
Crawford.
Got you. Yeah. So that's 3 hours, give or take. Yeah. That's really nice.
I went on their zip line tour up there. It's kind of cool. You go up there and they harness you in, and I
cool.
always have a little bit of a fear. How good is this harness?
Yeah. Like, is this kid a full-time employee or is he like summer help?
One of the zips, if I recall, is I think it's a 1/4 mile zip, distance, but you're up pretty high. And but that's actually a really cool spot. There's a lot, any of those mountain.
And then Mike, there's the Cog Railway.
Oh yeah,
That's super cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a lot of fun.
I don't know, how many years health wise I'll keep doing it, but I've and Mark and I too, we've certainly hiked Mount Washington many times, and really enjoyed that. But
What
they've got-
trail did you guys go up?
usually we go up Ammonoosuc Ravine, and then we'll come across.
It gets steep. You start right at the cog, where the cog exits, and you kind of just go right and then back up left, past the lake of the Clouds.
It works really
shack
great
there.
because there's a shed, Lake of Clouds hut you can stop at, and then there's the main visitor center up top. So you sort of have 2 good stops, which really helps, especially if you're with people that haven't done it before.
Yeah,
Just kind of makes them feel like there's still some civilization up there.
Yeah, yeah.
The backside coming down can take a while because we went down Jewel, and it's a great loop. It's a really great loop. I got hurt up there one time.
Yeah, Mike had a pretty good injury up there on
Yeah.
his shin. Yeah, I wasn't there that time, but
I had someone, being impatient. I had someone in front of me. I was trying to pass them a really narrow little area, and I kind of scaled up some rocks around them, and a big rock flipped, and it tore my skin right off of my shin. I could see the bone, and it was bleeding like crazy.
your best bet is not
And
stopping up there.
I was
Just-
like
just
4 miles from
power
the
through
bottom.
it. Yeah, yeah. If you
And
can
this is-
walk through it.
So I took a COVID mask and some duct tape.
Wow.
And I duct taped my leg shut.
Okay. And then you did some Wild West medicine, I think, later.
Well, that was to clean it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to imbibe a bit so my wife could clean it out.
Yeah, so you didn't have any like, hydrogen peroxide or.
No, I had to like bite the piece of wood and take a few shots.
Use some Hennessy.
She used liquid hand sanitizer to clean it out.
Bugger.
Yeah, and it burnt.
Oh boy,
Things can go wrong up there quickly.
They can go wrong very quick.
They
can.
I had a good I sat down. I had to kind of get my head around myself because I had 2 huge gashes on my leg. It's still the skin. There's not even any meat there now still, but I had to kind of get my composure, and then I had to take a couple deep breaths, and then I just went for it.
Then you gotta, you can't sit too long up there.
Yeah,
the weather can change. I mean, you don't want to be up there overnight unless you're very prepared.
As I walked, it hurt a lot, but I thought, okay, the bone is bruised. I don't think it's broken. Nothing was displaced. I just went for it.
Yeah.
And then we got to the bottom, and you're an hour away from a hospital. So the liquid hand sanitizer came out. But I had to pregame a little before I let her do that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I said, give me 45 minutes.
Yeah, you ever seen Tombstone? He's laying on the pool table, biting the leather.
The kids took a video of it, actually.
I would too.
Yeah.
That's actually something worth
Kids
videoing.
took a video of it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
My whole shoe was red from blood. In my boot.
Wow.
Completely.
You're like Kurt Schilling.
Yeah.
Right.
It bled
No
pretty
kidding.
good.
All right. Well, if you do head up to the Mount Washington area this weekend, be careful. There's a lot of awesome stuff, right?
It's my own fault. I was impatient.
We tag where we are in the show today so we can get this on video that Mike said it was his fault. I'm 44 years old, and that's one of the first times I've heard him say that.
Well, I didn't tell you, but tomorrow's National Brothers Day, so I was feeling a little sentimental, and
that's nice of you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I
figure in my first half a century, I should.
At some point, once
it's like one of those bucket list things you've never done.
Yeah. He just checked off. So he's got a little notebook in his back pocket.
Admit when you're wrong. Yep, did that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are the Hair Brothers on Car Brother Radio Adventure.
Got the bumper sticker. I'm good.
You're welcome to call us and join the conversation at 508-871-7000.
Don't have to do that again.
Looking for a fuel and food stop that truly stands out? Experience the Yatco difference. At Yatco, we're dedicated to bringing you the best customer service, the highest quality products, and a commitment to making your life on the go easier. Yatco has 15 convenient locations across central Massachusetts, and now our newest spot at 75 Quonsigamut Ave in Worcester. Yatco, where every stop keeps you going.
Hi, this is Phil George, the biochemist from Wellness Wave Radio. I don't recommend anyone that I don't do business with myself, so I'm glad that I found Doug at Meineke Car Center in Worcester. Since Meineke is a national company, the warranty will be honored by other Meineke shops nationwide. Just call 774-530-9009 or schedule an appointment online. Meineke, 661 Park Avenue, Worcester, keeping your wheels on the road.
Polar Park is the place to play, so treat yourself to a private suite at the best ballpark in AAA. Suite rentals are the best way to enjoy a fully catered and climate-controlled experience at the park. Whether you choose to watch the game from inside of the suite or out in your seats, it's the ultimate experience for a special occasion. Visit WooSox.com or call 508-500-8888 to reserve your suite today.
Looking for a station that brings you all sides of the story? Tune in to 50,000 watt powerhouse WCRN, where the left and the right meet in the middle. Whether you lean left, lean right, or just want to stay informed, WCRN has you covered with diverse voices, lively debates, and thought-provoking discussions. From politics and health to pop culture, you'll hear it all right here. Radio Central, where opinions from both sides come together for the conversations that matter. From the center of the dial, the center of New England, and the center of information, AM 830, WCRN, Radio Central.
The Carr Brothers continues. Live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio. Radio Central, 830 WCRN. Now, here's your hosts, Mike and Mark Carr from Harborough Auto Sales and Service.
Welcome back to the Carr Brothers Radio Adventure on WCRN 830 AM. We're talking cars and trips, day trips, weekend trips. It's National Road Trip Day today, the last Friday before Memorial Day of every year. So put that on your calendar. And if you didn't do it this year, plan a trip for next year. New England's an amazing place for road trips, I guess, because it's different than, we're talking about a 3-hour radius.
If you're in the Midwest.
Yeah. Right. If you're in Texas or something, 3 hours gets you to Walmart, right?
I'm going to go look at another cornfield.
We had a caller actually today, and he had a cool Midwestern accent, older guy, a caller at the shop, not on the radio here. And he said, how far?
Oh, I heard him.
Yeah. He says, he's trying to help his grandson who's doing school in Worcester. He's going to pay for his grandson's brakes, which is very kind. And then he got nervous. He says, oh, wait, how far are you from Worcester? I said, oh, I don't know, maybe 25 minutes. Oh, okay. No, that's nothing. Like he's in Oklahoma. He's thinking we're 4 hours from Worcester. So he was pretty relieved when he called a place that was actually just a few minutes from Worcester. But yeah, so New England's an awesome place for road trips. We got another text that was talking about up the North Fork of Long Island, which again is kind of, it's New York. But if you go down to Bridgeport and take the ferry over to the North Fork, you can get there. You can easily get there in 3 hours, and that's a beautiful area. That's wineries.
Yeah,
and
a lot
vineyards,
of horse stuff out there.
A lot of horse stuff out there. So again, much different than you'd think of New York City. You can get to New York City too if you're more of a city slicker. You can get to New York City in 3 hours. So that includes New York City. I don't know about on Memorial Day with traffic, but. I always feel like Memorial Day seems like a time to head north, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think it's anywhere good. I mean, pick your poison, right? You got beaches, you have mountains.
Yeah.
Cities, towns.
That's why New England's kind of awesome that way, right?
Yeah, we sort of have a miniature version of everything.
Right.
So,
yeah,
that makes it pretty great. I mean, we don't have the Rocky Mountains, but
we do not. No, that's true. But we've got some mountains that are worth hiking. Yeah, for sure. And really, if you go to the Rocky Mountains, you're really gonna hike a whole mountain, right? You just want the top bit, or a few miles here or there. So that's what kind of where Washington.
I mean, New England has fairly warm water. Rhode Island beaches are reasonable.
Rhode Island beaches are the warmest north of the Carolinas because the Gulf Stream bounces off I think the Outer Banks and then wraps back up in Wales, Narragansett. Basically.
Remember we used to do, what we do every
April 27th?
Every April we would jump in the ocean.
Yeah, it was our sister's birthday. We thought it'd be a nice little bonding thing, jump in the ocean on April 27th. It doesn't seem as cold.
We went on
now.
a cold,
We've
rainy
gone on some cold days. Yeah.
April day, like that 38-degree rain. And here we are, several of us. And there's people on the beach with rain jackets and parkas.
Parkas, yeah.
And here we go. We stripped down to our bathing suits and we all dove in the ocean.
Yeah, I don't think they didn't think we were playing with the full deck.
I shivered for 35 minutes after
Guys,
that.
you're old. Cardiac issues.
Yeah, well, now that's... We weren't that old then, right?
That's what?
10 years ago, maybe?
15, maybe.
Yeah. I've been in the water every month this year.
You did it?
Yep.
Even
month.
January?
No, that's not true. January, there was 16 inches of ice. I couldn't get in. But we got
You
in
got
very,
chipped through.
very early in February. Yeah. It was very, very cold.
I have one of those augers.
Oh, bring it.
To chip through. Yeah, don't let that stop you.
So we are talking about road
I'll
trips.
auger through if you'll jump in.
Great. That sounds like a great deal. Yeah, as long as you'll drag me back out. That's what National Brothers Day is for, right? Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot going on this weekend. I guess this is a what do they call it? Public service announcement time. We've got Memorial Day weekend, which is kind of like the official start of summer, right? Everyone's pumped up.
Yeah, yeah. I live near some campgrounds, and they're
You start seeing
they're
them pulling
hooting
in.
it up.
Yep.
Yep, they're hooting it up.
And so I know pretty much all the towns locally are starting to plan their parades. So if you want to kind of commemorate the holiday and pay tribute to the reason that we're all here this weekend, and the folks who sacrificed so much for us, check your local listings and see where your local parade is. I know, Mike, we're involved in one in Northbridge, Mass. On Monday.
Right. It's in Northbridge, specifically downtown in Whitensville.
Yep.
And that's going to be at 9 a.m. And it's usually a really good showing. I'm not sure if my friend Bob, he's a military veteran, he usually will come in with the parade with us, but he has a couple medical things. So I'm not sure if he can make it this year.
Right. Yeah. He's a vet. And actually, I was looking at this because I think it's important. And Telegram.com has a really awesome list of kind of all the parades in Central Mass. Go to Telegram.com. We've got one in Northbridge, but almost every town has something going on, whether it's a parade, a memorial service, a flag planting. I would read them all on the air, but I would have had to start 40 minutes ago to just give you all the details. But Telegram.com has an awesome listing. Worcester, which is kind of the big boy around here, has a thing at 9 a.m. Memorial Day observance remembrance ceremony at 9 a.m. at Hope Cemetery. It's a big, beautiful cemetery. They'll lay wreaths down and have a ceremony that goes right through 1 o'clock and Korean War, Vietnam War, and all the way back to the World Wars.
Every Memorial Day around noontime, watch the F-14s in the sky.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, the flyovers. Yeah, that it's a minute. I say minute. It's a weekend where it's easy to slip away the reason, right? So you're like, oh, cool, I got to pick up some Bud Lights or whatever. But the real reason that we're celebrating that is that a lot of people have sacrificed incredibly to get to where we're at, right? So that we can enjoy our, camping trips and road trips and boat rides and fireworks or whatever. So
I had a good friend of mine when we were high school buddies, and I haven't seen him in a long time. But I remember one time he was in the Marine Corps, and he was overseas, in one of in the 90s and 2000s.
Yep.
And one time I spoke to him while he was over there, and he said, how do you sleep in that blanket of protection I provide for you? And that's a real.
He's not wrong.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
And
right.
I think us laymen, if you want to call it, we forget that it wasn't that long ago. We weren't even a country, and
not long at all.
How many people have lost their lives to fight for us?
No, that's right.
And we're pretty. I think as a culture, particularly now, it feels like we are certainly taking a lot of that for granted. And there's 52 weekends a year, and if this is one that you at least spend some time, go to a parade, go to the ceremony they have at the
cemetery.
Cemetery.
Right.
I know if you've got young kids and you kind of hang around a little bit,
that's
you can, they'll fire the shells.
Yep.
The salute.
Yeah, and it's just it's a good time to be proud of what we've got here. It's we really do have it pretty good. I know
absolutely.
A lot of these, I don't know, some of these other, a lot of shows get into the politics of things, and for better or worse, we do have it really good here. So
take a moment to honor, the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for us, and even those that didn't make the ultimate sacrifice, they made a sacrifice. Just to serve the country is a sacrifice. You're away from your family, you're living and doing things in countries you've never even heard of.
Yeah.
That's a lot different than driving to Westboro to do a radio show.
It's a lot different.
So, that's really, and we just want to remember and honor everybody this weekend. And
remember what the weekend's about. Have fun, be safe, but remember what the weekend's about. We've got kind of a cool thing tonight. I don't know if you even know this. Tonight at Polar Park, they've got a doubleheader. It's kind of just a shout out. they've got a doubleheader at Polar Park today.
the Woo Sox.
Yeah, the Woo Sox. I'm sorry. Yeah, it starts at 4, and if you're looking for something cool to do, they're going to have a massive fireworks display. Unibank puts on a really nice show.
Yeah, that's true.
But from a personal level, the reason I'm going is because our nephew Tommy Justice, a cool kid, in addition to being smart and handsome, is also apparently quite a right-handed pitcher. He's throwing out the first pitch tonight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How does he get that kind of setup?
I don't know. He's 10 years old. He's been practicing, and we're rooting for him, man. He's going to be throwing out the first pitch there it is, on the second game. Okay, so the first game starts at 4.
Huh.
And the second game starts, I don't know, 6:30 or 7 or something. And
Wow.
Tommy Boy's throwing out the first pitch. Yeah, so really proud of him. I don't know how he got that gig. I'll follow up with you another time, but I'm going to go check it out and see if.
Oh, that's really cool.
I'm going to, yeah, we're rooting for him. You know, I've seen a lot of bad first pitches, and then I've seen, like, you ever see, I think, Simone Biles? She does like a backflip and then throws the pitch beautifully. He's going to be somewhere in the middle.
I mean, Tommy, if you are listening, I don't care if you hit the batter or
Yeah,
anything
right,
like just
right,
throw
right.
it far enough.
Throw it far.
Just whip it.
Don't
You
throw
know,
it
whatever
directly into the
happens, just whip
ground.
it.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. No pressure.
Give it all the strength you have.
Yeah, so that's going to be cool. And again, they're going to be celebrating Memorial Day weekend at the park. They'll have fireworks and you know, special food and you know, trinkets and stuff that you can share with your kids. Polar Park's awesome. If you've got, if you don't do road trips this weekend, check out a game. It's really awesome. It did an awesome job over there. I know Unibank's a huge sponsor, and we're teamed up with them on a lot of things at Harborough. But what a great design, execution. The games are cheap. You can bring your family for, you know, you go with $100 bill, you'll leave with some change, you know, and you can't say that about a lot anymore, right? So really nice. So check
Certainly
out,
not the grocery store.
no, that's right. Yeah, it's probably cheaper to go to the game than it is to stop at Walmart on the way to the game, right? Yeah, so good luck to Tommy this afternoon, and we'll be rooting for you. Good luck to everybody this weekend. Take a minute to remember the purpose of the weekend, and if you're traveling, safe travels. Get your car checked. Still time before you leave, and we'll be back next week on the Carr Brothers Radio Adventure. We're a call-in show. We'd love to hear from you next week. Join the conversation at 508-871-7000. Mike?
Thanks for listening.
Safe travels.
This has been the Carr
2 seconds
Brothers
seems
with
like a
your
lot.
hosts, Mike and Mark Carr from Harborough Auto Sales and Service. Stay tuned for more live and local radio from the center of New England, the center of the dial, and the center of information radio. Radio Central.